Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing 52 Stunner by Juan Capilla. This flew under the radar of a lot of magicians. Stick around for the review, I hope you enjoy, and let's start off with a quick performance. It starts out with a regular deck of cards, and really, you can use any deck of cards. You spread through, you have them touch a card, and it doesn't matter if I see it. In a real performance, you wouldn't look at the card, but since I'm just performing for a camera, it's okay, and it doesn't matter. But then your spectator can give the deck a shuffle. They can do whatever, and in the real world, you're not supposed to see the card at this point, but you go through, and you supposedly find their freely chosen card. So I'm going through. I think I found their card. Is it this one? No, it's this one. If this was your card, how crazy would it be? It is your card with all the other 52 cards. You can check that out. Oh, but wait, there's one card sticking out, the Queen of Hearts, and that is insane. But then after that, like, they can check out this card at this point, but then you have them look through and find a card with a number. I'll quickly show you. You can pause and find one. If you don't, I'll just pretend it for you. So I'm looking at a number card. Then I'd say to I'll show a pretend spectator. I'd say to them, you're thinking of a number card, right? And then you'd say, you're thinking of a red card, aren't you? They'd say, yes, maybe. Then I'd say, but it's a low card, right? And they say yes again. Then I say, okay, don't tell me what it is just yet. You're thinking of a low red card. And then you ask them, what's their card? They say 3 of diamonds. Boom, 3 of diamonds. You get it every single time. And the card is different. It's not the same for every single performance. It's the same for some, but not every. And during that performance, I used the ungimmicked 52 on one card just to prevent method exposure. But I hope you enjoyed that performance. Let's get right into the review. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that performance. Before we begin, I just wanted to let any magic distributors know, or magic creators, if you'd like me to review one of your products, please reach out and contact me at beafanmail@gmail.com, and we can arrange something. So let's start off with what you get here. You get this nice plastic bag, and inside is well, both of them are regular, just one is extra specially printed. You get a regular 52 on one card, which I can fully show you, and you get another one, which I won't fully show you because it's almost like a force card. It allows you to force one of 4 cards on your spectator, but that's the gimmick. You also get an instruction card, which has a link to the p3magic.com website, and you watch it. It also shows up in your Penguin Magic library, and the video is 26 minutes long for those curious or who would like to buy this. But you only get one regular 52 on one gimmick and one gimmicked 52 on one gimmick, and both of them have the Queen of Hearts popping up, but one forces some card. The one allows you to do the second phase of the routine, and the other allows you to do the first phase of the routine. What is the quality of the gimmick? The gimmick is printed on standard red bicycle back, and standard bicycle finish, so it's pretty good, and this should last some time as long as you keep it somewhere clean. I've been working this in my set for the past week, and where I've kept these gimmicks, actually I only use one because I'm a little bit ballsy when I'm performing this, because I find it's unlikely no one's noticed that this is a gimmick card or a force card, even when they're holding on to the card. But this is just if you want the spectator to see all 52 cards are there. And this is the gimmick card. So I only keep the gimmick card. I put it in some place safe, like my vinyl wallet from Penguin Magic. The card wallet, you can pick it up for 80 cents. Or I keep it on the cellophane of a card box. That's why cellophane is so important. So you keep it one of there. And yeah, the thing is, this being in my pocket all the time has warped the card to the point that it has now the click of death. Any magicians here can relate to my struggles. It typically happens on airplanes. When you get off an airplane, the deck of cards is slightly warped. You can see it's bent, but when I try to bend it the other way, you can hear that click. It fully bends the other way. It doesn't half bend or anything, and that's annoying because it stays. You can't unbend it. It won't fix, and that creates. Well, I guess it could help, but it creates a visible gap on the side of the deck, and that's unfortunate. Because the spectator may see it, but my two cards have warped. And they're slightly bent, and it's impossible pretty much to get these back in the original condition. I put them in a bunch of books. They're still not going back, and for that reason, I wish they would have included a few more of these gimmicks, maybe 2 or 3. Because, for example, Fine Print by Jay Sankey is the same price as this, but they include 14 gimmicks. But this includes 1 gimmick and 1 regular card. So that would have been slightly better. I already love this a lot, but I would have loved it even more if they included some extra gimmicks. Now, how's the tutorial? The tutorial is quite good. It's 26 minutes long, and it's taught entirely by Juan Capilla. It looks like it's in his home, but he's well mic'd. The video is shot very clearly. You can hear Juan. There are live performances as well, and Juan teaches everything as well as additional subtleties. Now, what are the angles like for 52 standard? The angles are perfect for this. There are no angle issues. You can have people behind you, in front of you, or beside you. Maybe you might want to be careful with the pinky breaks, like if you're doing the classic force, because you need to do a classic force for the first phase of the routine. But with the classic force, no one's going to notice the pinky break. I do it all the time surrounded for some other tricks I like with the reveals, like, for example, Tactic by Laurent Villager and another person. Sorry, I forgot their name. But that also uses a classic force, which is why I know there are no angle issues for this, because yeah, I perform this in crowds of 50 people. I've performed this in crowds of as low as 3 people. And in all situations, this has never failed me so far. Again, it's only been a week. It's only been 2 gigs, and yeah. But is this examinable? Well, as I said, one of the 52 on 1 cards is examinable. Both of them have the Queen of Hearts out-jogged in that stack, but the other 52 on 1 card is not examinable because it allows you to force. The other one allows you to do the second phase of the routine, where they think of any number card and you guess it. But that card is not examinable. But to be honest, I've put the gimmick card in their hands so many times, and at least 20, and no one has noticed that it's a force card or a gimmick card. All they notice is the Queen of Hearts out-jogged, and that's what gets the reaction for the first phase. And then the second phase blows them away. But your spectator will likely be reacting at the trick at hand rather than asking to check out the cards, or the card in this case. Furthermore, they let their guard down when you pull out the 52 on 1 gag. They think, that's a horrible trick. You hyped it up so much, saying it's the greatest card trick you'll ever see. Come on, it's not great. But that's what they think, and then when they see the Queen of Hearts out-jogged, their brain goes to mush. no one wants to examine these cards. Now, the difficulty and practicality of this effect. This is not very difficult at all, in the slightest. You just have to force the Queen of Hearts at the start of the trick. And for me, I find it easy to force it using a subtlety I learned at the Bernardo Sedlacek lecture, which was about a week ago or a couple weeks ago, which is doing the classic force face up. If they don't fall for it and they touch a different card, you say, actually, we'll turn the deck over so neither of us see the card yet, and then proceed to classic force. And this way, this is the worst case scenario. If they don't touch it, the right card, you go down here, you cull the card back. This is more of an advanced technique, and you put it under the queen square up, and then show what they think was the card that was just up-jogged. But in reality, it wasn't, because you just put this underneath, closed that, and then showed them the Queen of Hearts. That's a subtlety that I always use. And then sometimes I use 52 Stunner as a prediction effect, especially when I want to use a different deck of cards. For example, the Oysters, which I found for like $2 on playingcarddex.com. Check out that video. It was a recently loaded video of me unboxing a bunch of expensive playing cards, which I found for super cheap. But back to the review at hand. But yeah, that's the subtlety. But this is completely beginner. A beginner would like this because they can just do the riffle force, which is like this, and then boom, show the Queen of Hearts, which that wasn't in this case, or the cross cut force, which is they cut anywhere. They cut anywhere. So you set that on the table, set that here, and you really force this card. For example, let's say that's the Jack of Hearts, but it's kept face down. They cut anywhere and set that down. The other one goes sideways on top of it. Then you lift this up, and they think this is the card they cut to, but in reality, it was just the top card. So even a beginner could do this. I think the most difficult part of this is just the pattern. But yeah, the trick is super easy. Everything else about it is self-working. You don't even have to switch the regular 52-on-1 gimmick for the gimmick one, because no one's going to notice the card is gimmicked. It's not even gimmick, it's just specially printed. This won't break on you at all, unless you intentionally rip it apart. But yeah, as I said, I keep it in the cellophane of my box. It's super practical. And now, is there any DIY? No, there's absolutely no DIY at all. If you do want to do this with another back design, you can, I guess, peel off the red, put on a different card. But do not do that. Do not do that. You can just instead do this. Because I like to use I sometimes use different decks, like the Tally-Ho playing cards, and as long as the design is similar enough to bicycle playing cards, no one is gonna think anything of it. So here's a performance of what I do if I want to use a different deck of cards. I have a red card here, and these cards. The red card is a different color from the whole deck. But here's why. It's the prediction card for the card you haven't even chosen yet. You can see the cards are all different. If you want, you can even examine it. No? Okay. Well, here, I'm going to go through. You can just touch a card, any card. Oh, that one? Okay. Let's look. The Queen of Hearts. If the Queen of Hearts matched the prediction card, how incredible would that be? Well, it matches it because all 52 cards are there. So I guess that's not great. But if you look closely, you can see the Queen of Hearts is the only card that's sticking out of the pile. And that's how I do 52 Stunner with a different back design deck. And then I, of course, proceed into the second phase of the 52 Stunner routine, where you read your spectator's mind, where they look through and they think of a number card on it, and then you tell them what that number card is. But yeah, pocket space, as I said, takes up no space. The reset's instant. There's no setup or anything. Now let's see if the trailer and ad copy are honest. The trailer says this is the best card trick ever. I don't know about that one, but I think it's a joke. The ad copy, I'm going to read it. Start a stunning piece of mentalism with cards as a joke, but finish with their jaws on the floor with one of the fairest pieces of mental magic you will ever perform with a deck of cards. You may have seen the 52-on-1 gimmick before, but this time it has been transformed into one of the most hard-hitting, thought-of-card effects you can perform. This is the 52 Stunner by Juan Capilla. Your spectator selects and remembers a card. They shuffle the deck. With no way of knowing what or where the card is, you can take a guess by removing a single card from the deck. They name their card, and you prove that you know what it is by turning around the card and showing that their card is printed on the face. All 52 other cards are also printed on the face as well. It starts off as a joke, but then it gets crazy. You prove you know which one they were thinking of when they look at the card they picked, and it's the only one out-jogged from the other cards printed on the 52-on-1 card. Then ask them to think of any card on the 52-on-1 gimmick and lock it in their mind. You pull another card from the deck and exactly reveal what card they're thinking of. When you turn around the card in your hand, it is exactly the card they are thinking of. 52 Stunner uses a specially printed 52-on-1 gimmick that allows you to perform this mind-reading miracle with 100% accuracy. All you have to do is add this specially printed card to your deck, and you're ready to perform. No sleight of hand needed, which allows you to focus on the performance and leave your audience with the impression that you are really reading their mind. Juan Capilla has created a truly special effect that impresses the audience, that your audience will love. It uppercuts all day with 52 Stunner by Juan Capilla. So that's pretty honest. The only thing is, it says there's no sleights. There is just a small sleight. You have to force the card. And the other thing is, they can't think of any card on the 52-on-1 gimmick. They can only think of a number card. But other than that, it's honest. Now, is this price worth it? It's $20 US. I really enjoyed this effect. I've gotten more mileage, and I've been rewarded. I've been paid back by these gimmicks more than I paid for the actual effects. So I think it's a little overpriced for just one gimmick. I think it would have been perfectly priced if they included 2 sets of these cards, or change the price to $15 or something. I would buy this again, but it's a little expensive for what you're getting. But the thing is, the effect is so powerful, it makes up for this cost. So, now the pros and cons. The pros, this lowers their expectation with a joke and surprises them so much. This is super comedic, it's super practical, little pocket space, there are live performances in the tutorial, and this even replaced my 52-to-1 deck by David Penn and Wayne Fox. There are no angle issues, the tutorial's great, there are good reactions to this, it works every time, it includes an examinable 52-on-1 card, it's 2-phased, so that helps out. The cons, sometimes this doesn't work on spectators with bad eyes. They may think they saw a card on the 52-on-1 gimmick, but they may not have. And also, you need to have good pattern for this. But other than that, there's no cons. And that's about it. So what percent do I give this? I give this a 96%. Once again, this is one of the best and most powerful tricks released in 2023, at least in my opinion. And it's really powerful, and it's so sad that this has flown under the radar for so many magicians. And I believe, similar to the last few tricks I've reviewed, such as Vanish by Justin Miller, Envelope 2.0, this could be in the top 10 tricks of 2023. But if you missed those other reviews, check them out. But once again, I really hope I helped you out by making this review. I always try to inform people as much as possible so they spend their good, hard-earned money on magic they'll actually use. If this helped you out in any way, it would be so great if you could subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, check out my channel for reviews, tutorials, performances, advice, and more. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.